writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
El hospital.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Mordfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okula gider. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is sword, and that also means elephant. Okay.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, c'est ça, que c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Night. Night. Fun. Bien. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Bangba, okay, Bangbas is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile.
Sì, sì, ecco, la gente, è la cosa che mi dice la gente, sempre che scoprisce che quante lingue parlo, io sempre avevo l'impressione, diciamo, di che non era così, non era tan così, ma poi, dopo di aver visto qualche poliglota in YouTube, una delle cose che avevo scoperte era giustamente che la metodologia usata da quella gente poliglota che non avevo mai conosciuta prima, era più o meno la stessa metodologia che usavo io.
I find a computer or what? And here's another example. I like to point these out. For this word for or, but sounds vaguely like Hogun and the hok in Hogun in Korean or waku in Japanese, and that's because it is the exact same kind of character.
Okay, let me see.
Un chasseur sachant chasser, ses chassés sont son chien de chasse.
Der dicke Dach.
Okay, der dicke Dachdecker deckt dir dein Dach, drum dank dem dicken Dachdecker, dass der dicke Dachdecker dir dein Dach deckt.
Hola y bienvenidos al directo de Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. Yo soy Elisa, traductora, escritora y editora y comunicadora social con más de 20 idiomas de trabajo. Y aquí vamos a estar jugando videojuegos, sobre todo GeoGuessr, y hablando de idiomas, la mejor forma de aprenderlo y caleta más.
Zwei Zwetschgenzweigen zwitscherten zwei tschechische Schwalben. Tres tristes tigres tragaban trigo en un trigal en tres tristes trastos.
Oh, I see. This is Diche Ishai Fui, which means do you want food? But yeah, are you hungry? That kind of thing. How are the boys? Cine da boy. Posso Milao. Pote. Buenese. Proteine. Utros. Totopolo. In the designated chicken eating area, obviously.
Okay, still 3 times I have to defeat him. And I don't have a whole lot of health left. Hello and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I'm Elise, translator, writer, and editor with 20 working languages, and this is the stream where we're going to play some GeoGuessr, and we're going to look at some more of the best and perhaps not so best of language learning YouTube. So let's get stuck in, shall we? I've been playing the daily challenge lately. I think I'm going to continue that. Okay. Something makes me think Central Europe. How's everybody doing today? Okay, that looks Cyrillic, but I can't really get a good... Проектна. Okay. Slavic, but use Cyrillic using Slavic language that is not Russian. We need some more samples. I have a feeling it might be Bulgarian because of the way Proyectna was written there. Yeah, definitely not Ukrainian. Servertechnik. Luft ist uns nicht Luft. A very international group of tradies working around here. Who is a Polish aluminium supplier and a German HVAC engineer. We're running out of time. I'm just gonna say it's someplace in the Bulgaria. It was Ukraine. Okay, we have sand. We have English. Do we have a main road anywhere around here? Renders all bank services. Okay. Sounds like West Africa, possibly. Oh wait, that looks official. Ministry of Works and Transport of where, though? We shall endeavor to find out. Getting a Ghana vibe from the language. Oh no, that's a Nigerian flag. $45.93. Okay. We're in Cambodia. I'm gonna say probably someplace around Phnom Penh. 49.64. Okay, we have... This looks very northern to me, with the construction in the landscape and the lack of trees. But what kind of northern? Yeah, lots of moss and brush and stuff, but no trees, which also suggests a fairly high altitude, I recently learned. Longyearbruen brandvesen. Vi I Svalbard. Okay. Det är första gången jag fått Svalbard här. $49.98. Okay, round 5. This is definitely not Svalbard. Mountainous, sunny, kind of dry. Getting a South America vibe. Energía. Eventos. Okay. Yeah. Alto. Okay, no, we're in Central America. So possibly Mexico or one of various other places in Central America. Hello, Riveroon. A dry Central American place. Oh well. Really, that kind of only leaves Mexico. Oh, okay. By Empalme. How's everybody doing today? Okay, not a bad score for the daily challenge. That time control makes it all very complicated. So my method is traveling all around and seeing what I can see. And there's a definite limit to how much of that you can do on a 2.5 minute time control. Okay, we're in Mexico. PRI. Rubén Martínez, diputado líder. Okay, yeah. We're definitely in Mexico. Julio Ambrosio, alcalde de San Pedro, 2020. Okay. But where in Mexico? Okay, the API is being annoying. Someplace mountainous and green. So, probably southern and central Mexico. Maybe we're in Chiapas, Tabasco. Doesn't feel like Yucatan. I don't see any palms. Doesn't really feel like the sea is anywhere nearby. But we are absolutely in Mexico because PRI. Ave del Señor. Okay. And of course it's blurred out. Hueva. Claro. Vigencia un día. So we're in some place probably called San Pedro because there's electoral propaganda for San Pedro Necta. Okay? Never heard of it. Guessing it's a place that requires some serious zooming. Imported school buses. Look, it's in English. San Pedro Necta. ¿Dónde carajo queda? Kilómetro 302 de alguna carretera, pero no sabemos cuál. Okay. Ay, jejeme. We are someplace in Mexico. Someplace very lush and green and mountainous. Trouble is, there's a lot of that in Mexico. Hello, Badger. Yes, that's because I just posted. I forgot that I hadn't put it up in the Discord. The other day I joined the GeoGuessr Discord as well, so maybe there will be some GeoGuessr Discord people in here joining us as we try to figure out where in Mexico exactly San Pedro Necta is. It's clearly not a very big place. San Pedro y San Pablo, pero los he equivocado. Azúcar de Matamoro. San Pablo del Monte. I'm just having a look. Buena Jerica. Ojo del Agua. San Pedro de los Baños. San Felipe del Progreso. Just fact that it has a kilometer sign indicates that it is probably a numbered highway, which also sort of suggests that we might get a sign someplace saying what it's near. So, all we know right now is we are in Mexico, in a place called San Pedro Necta. Wait, what does that say? Túmulos. Well. Oh, the API. Apparently, this sort of thing happens when the Google Street View API decides to play silly buggers. Oh, 100%. Like, one of the first things we saw was election propaganda for PRI. It is definitely Mexico. That is the one thing I am sure about. That is one of the handy things about the way they do election propaganda in Latin America. They just sort of paint it on walls and mountains and things, and it stays there for ages. And so, if you find yourself in a situation where you don't know what fucking country you're in, it's right there. Fun fact, in Chile, líder is what Walmart is called. There was a sign just then. Túmulo 50 metros. Nada que nos sirva. Kann man hinzufügen. Da gibt's alle möglichen Tastaturanordnungen, die man da installieren kann. Gibt sogar Kambodisch oder Amharisch. Wait. They have PRI in Guatemala? Okay. That's weird. I mean, it's like the same, yeah, it's the same emblem for PRI as well. Okay, that is a useful piece of information, actually. 3360. Okay, this is almost certainly Russia or Ukraine. Note the gas ducts. Yeah, Cyrillic as well. Кружка. Темные, светлые. Okay, yeah, Russia. Смерть буржуазии и ее прихвостям. Да здравствует красный террор. Okay, so someplace rural and Russian. Ah, but otherwise the same layout and the same font and stuff. That's confusing. Partido de la Reacción Imperial. Okay, here we go, an actual paved surface. Now we have a chance at finding a sign that says where the hell we are. Oh wait, I think I may have passed a sign that says where we are. No, it just says that trucks go that way. Okay, we're moving towards a populated, no, more densely populated and urbanized area. The signs so far have all been in Russian. There hasn't been anything in Ukrainian. And their language laws are very particular about that sort of thing. Okay, here we go. This программа губернатора Сергея Цивильева. Моя новая школа. 28 школ капитально отремонтировано. Кузбасс. Which makes me think near Ukraine, anyway.
Смерть буржуазії та її посіпакам. Хай живе червоний терор. Марія Ра. Продукты Эльеге. Yeah, still no Ukrainian, so. Проекта партии Единая Россия. Культура малой Родины. В пожароопасный сезон в лесу запрещается. Okay, they're worried about forest fires around here. Где черт находится Кузбасс? Apparently, this is 52 days before their 300th Jubilee. I always find very interesting place names when you zoom far in into Russia. Kozyolsk. Goat Town. Although Kozyol can also be used to mean asshole. Oh, hang on, what did that say? Старопистерево. Никогда не услышала. Технологическая дорога. Okay. This is the thing, it's like, if they drop you outside of a major urban area in Russia, it could be kind of anywhere. I mean, apart from various northern parts of Siberia and closed towns.
other than that... Oh, hang on, what's this? Внимание, водитель! Участок дороги подвержен бросаткам. Yeah. Замечается. Does not, however, tell me where they are, just that the roads suck. I already kind of know that because I'm looking at the roads and they suck. Okay, it's wild guessing time. Oh, wow. Nowhere near it. It was up by... Novokuznetsk. Other end of the country. 482 points. That's one of only a few countries where you can do that badly. What's wild about Russian infrastructure is that you can have like these areas that don't even have paved roads, and then they're just outside of the city, and then you get into the city and suddenly you actually have reasonably good roads. PF, estamos en Chile. No necesito que me digan nada más. Américo Vespucio, estamos en Santiago, huevón. Y yo sé exactamente dónde nos encontramos. Estamos en la circunvalación Vespucio. We are, I know exactly where this is. What is that? Escuela Militar. Okay, yeah, I know where this is. Just from that PF logo, I can tell where we are. And the fact that it's Américo Vespucio. Estamos en el barrio alto. Okay, Vespucio. Now, just find Cummins, Aníbal Pinto. We're looking for the military academy, Escuela Militar. Lo Cruzat, Quilicura. Okay, we're a bit too far north. Okay, yeah. Cerca del barrio El Golf será Cristóbal Colón. This is Santiago de Chile, in the part where all the rich white people live. Alcántara. Escuela Militar. Ahí estamos. Yep, there we go. Main entrance to the Escuela Militar Libertador Bernardo O'Higgins. A few years ago, an explosive device went off. What do they call what there? In the metro station at this stop. And the media said it was definitely anarchists because they found whole wheat bread on the premises. Well, there are two, actually. There's momio and there's cuico. Momio tends to be old money. And when you get into this part of Santiago, it is where the old money is. It is very children of the corn. There we go, Metro Escuela Militar. $49.99. Cuico can be also new money, but like momio is people. Momio, M-O-M-I-O. That is the people who have basically owned the country ever since colonization, and who overwhelmingly live in the eastern districts of Santiago, Dünya Alışveriş Merkezi, Türkiye. Yes, I like when I've occasionally had GeoGuessr drop me in bits of Santiago that I've spent a fair bit of time in. That is not a particular area where I've spent time, but I passed that station a lot on the way to, there's this Italian grocery in Las Condes, which is very much in the Children of the Corn district. Okay, this is the wrong way to go, so we're gonna start over. Where they're very nice and have all the ingredients that I need. Well, it includes that. The two things map very closely to each other. But when you talk about momio, you are almost always talking also about somebody who is very rich and very white. Like, okay, there was the constitutional referendum a few years ago in Chile, the sort of attempt to sedate the rebellion that was going on at the time. And the first stage of it was just to vote on whether whether the Pinochet constitution should be abolished and replaced with something else. Literally every single district in all of Chile, from the desert all the way down to the Arctic, voted yes, except for 3 districts: Vitacura, Las Condes, and I think El Arrayán. Or no, Lo Barnechea. Which are all in the Children of the Corn part of Santiago that I was just describing to you. The only places. Okay. Where... Dünya Alışveriş Merkezi. That means World Trade Center. Like, you go there and you almost feel like somebody is going to be, like, taking out hair swatches and making sure you're blonde enough to be in the neighborhood. It is actually quite creepy. Okay. Yeah, that's quite right. Not sure where Cuico comes from. Cuico is C-U-I-C-O. And tends to have... I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody who owns a feudal land holding in the countryside. and has owned a fourth of the country since colonization. Okay, did not do well on Turkey because there was just very little scope to move around. But this feels like the US or Canada. Clear Run Baptist Church. So, wherever we are, we're in some place called Clear Run, I guess. One of the wild things about the ruling class in Chile is just how few last names they have. There are like 5 last names. Yeah. I kind of lean towards US as well. And it's all just combinations. I mean, the whole political class, it's like the same surnames from one generation to the next. There's always a Lave, there's always a Frey. You know, there's going to be a Jarpa someplace, an Errázuriz, an Irarrázaval, which is a tongue twister of a name that is also a metro station. Mm. 35 miles an hour, that's, yeah, miles an hour, yeah, we're in the US. I'm gonna say, I feel like this could be Midwestern, maybe Kentucky, possibly, I mean, Indiana isn't quite this interesting landscape-wise. Possibly Ohio? I don't know. We'll see. We'll get something more than this. But yeah, we are 100% in the US. The speed limits always clear that up quickly. Tooth Acres Lane? I don't want to know how they got that name. That sounds fucked up. Tooth Acres. 270 area code. How are you defining upper and lower Midwest? I have not heard those terms before. Yeah, this isn't Iowa or Indiana. I could see it being parts of Ohio, Kentucky, definitely. I don't know, possibly Tennessee. Bits of Missouri that it could be, I guess. Not so much, Nippon Yusen Kaisha. Just a Japanese shipping container just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, I could see it being Southern Ohio. Definitely. Clear Run, though. That does not ring any bells to me. Mount Moriah. Ah, okay. So, sub-Canada, basically. Gingivitis Road and Scurvy Street. I mean, I do not want to know how that got the name Tooth Acres. Because it's like, I mean, unless that was just where some old-timey, quasi-dentist was located, or something. But other than that, all the explanations I can think of are, like, genocidal. And even old-timey dentistry is in itself disturbing. I mean, honestly, new-timey dentistry, I mean, to me anyway, requires half an oral midazolam to get through. It's very pretty. It's a nice little drive. Tooth Acres. Ciao, Santiago. Let's just have a little punch, shall we? Clear run. I'm just looking. Oh, yes, that's right. That's what it was. Penile. There's a part of Louisville called Penile. That was something I discovered on a previous journey through GeoGuessr. And not far from Penile, Kentucky, just on the other side of the Ohio River, there is a Got Junk location in Indiana. It also borders on Edgewood. Yeah. No, but I saw Louisville, and I wanted to remind myself what was the place name that the dick-related place name that I had remembered seeing there the last time that GeoGuessr had taken me to Kentucky. Well, is there a main road anywhere near here? I have no idea. Probably not as hard as Edgewood. Bluegrass Roofing Company. Okay, yeah. Definitely in Kentucky then. Beach Bend. Anna, Asphalt, Windyville, Lindsayville, Brownsville. Pig. There's just a town called Pig. I wonder, do they have a police station in Pig? No, they don't seem to have a police station in Pig. That's a pity. Knob? What the fuck? What the fuck, Kentucky? Knob Lick? You're gonna have a place called Knob Lick? Right by Wisdom, too. Like, you're killing me, Kentucky. Right by Weed. Just a town called Weed. Flippin'. I'm in Flippin', Kentucky. There's Dry Fork. Temple Hill. I wonder how they pronounce étoile in that part of Kentucky. I have a feeling they do not pronounce it étoile. Like these place names. Bug Tussle, right on the boundary with Tennessee. There's a place called Bug Tussle, which sounds like a rejected, like an early draft of the script of Aliens. So is this going to be a stand-up thing, or is this just going to be a bug tussle? And then they realized that just didn't sound very good. And so they said bug hunt instead. Knoblik is right near Breeding. That's on brand. I mean, who knows? Maybe it means exactly what it sounds like. Maybe when they named it, yeah, whoever colonized it had just had a pleasant experience and decided to name this spot after it. Yeah, bug tussle does sound cute. Sounds like what the cicadas out back are getting up to right now. Okay, we're just gonna have a punt at this point. $46.90. And there was a weird head thing there. For a second, I've not seen that before. Yeah, not my best score by any stretch of the imagination, thanks to Russia. Thanks, Russia. I'm gonna take a little bio break, and then I will be right back. Bug tussle.
Hi, and welcome to Hyperpolyglotting with Elise. I am Elise, translator, editor, and writer with 20 working languages, and this is where we talk about languages and language learning and all sorts of other stuff, and we play games.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time, and we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Perfect. Okay, 3 of 4.
還元一級の先というのは、本当に誰も知らない字ばっかりでしょうね。私は
Okay, we've leveled up and it is time to pick another language. Morfar är tröttare än vanligt. Maten är färdig. And let's see what we're doing when we get back. Greek. We're doing Greek when we get back. Ben neredeyse her gün okuladayım. Fun fact. Turkish. Hello, Shakespeare. How you doing? Fun fact, in Spanish, the word for bishop in chess is alfil. And that actually comes from Arabic. Fil. The same word fil as this. Meaning elephant, because the bishop traditionally was to represent elephant units somehow. Similarly, in Russian, the word for bishop is squab, and that also means elephant.
This is Elise with an update on the ongoing Inessa Armand translation project. We now have 37 of the 38 extant essays and speeches by Inessa Armand translated into English for the first time. And we are just short of the halfway mark on the fundraising progress as well. This enrichment of the English language Marxist canon has only been possible with your support, and it's been a real lifeline for me. So anyone who would like to support this project can find links in the description for how to do so, and everybody who has already supported it has my sincerest thanks.
Ça, ça, ah c'est ça, che c'est ça, non ça, c'est ça. Sol chi sa che nulla sa, ne sa più di chi ne sa. Ecco.
Bonjour et bienvenue à Hyper Polyglotting avec Élise. Moi, c'est Élise, traductrice, éditrice et écrivain avec 20 ans de travail. Et ça, c'est la transmission en direct ou en jeu des jeux, surtout GeoGuessr en dernier temps. Et parle des langues, de la linguistique, de l'acquisition des langues.
10-159. Haven't made a huge dent in it, but we're getting there. Okay, gonna do some Chinese now. Nej. Nej. Come on. Bien. Yo. 5. Ducks are drinking wine. Barbaz, okay, Barbaz is duck. Okay, I have now leveled up. Let's see what the XP situation is now. 10,340 out of 12,500. And as always, viewers can choose my next language for me just with a follow and a $5 to my Patreon.
Sotto le frasche del capanno 4 gatti grossi stanno. Sotto 4 grossi sassi, 4 grossi e grassi gatti. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Un généreux déjeuner régénéré des généraux dégénérés. Facile. Sì, ecco, la gente...
And I'm back. Abner Weed. That sounds like a brand of weed. Okay, another round. Not entirely sure where we are here. Okay. Anglosphere, certainly. This is making me think US, possibly California. Mixed signifiers. The roads suck, but the houses are... Los Feliz Boulevard. Oh, I know where we are. We're in LA. Los Feliz in New Hampshire. Okay. That was easy. Cute little bug nose. I just have to remember where in LA Los Feliz is. Well, Los Feliz Avenue, anyway. A boulevard, rather. Las Tunas. Wilshire. South Park. Echo Park. Spent a few weeks there a while back. Actually, around 10 years ago exactly. Beverly Boulevard, Little Bangladesh. Wilshire, Alvarado, Washington, Sunset. Rampart. Everyone's favorite LAPD station. Damn it. Why does my mouse do that? Oh, there's Los Feliz. Okay, Hollywood Boulevard. There's Los Feliz Boulevard. Edgemont, Berendo, Hillhurst. Avocado Street. Vermont, Hillhurst, Rodney. Commonwealth, Nella Vista. Yeah. Crystal Springs. Oh, okay. Continues on, right. Glen Feliz, Edenhurst, Railroad. Oh, well, it becomes Los Feliz Road there. I don't think I've seen it melting before. Oh, there is New Hampshire. Okay, yes, tiny. 5,000. Rue du Vieux-Port. Ville de Sèvres. Sèvres, c'est où Sèvres? Okay, we're in France someplace. That I'm fairly certain about. Rue de la Cristallerie, bâtiment F. Always handy when they drop me someplace I actually know. Siège social. Solocal groupe. Foot golf. C'est quoi? Foot golf. Apparently you kick a football into around a golf course? Brasserie Le Batelier. Fairly urbanized place. Sèvres. Well, let's just see if we can have a wild. Okay, goodbye, LA. Annecy, Valence, Dijon, Besançon, Strasbourg, Rennes. Tours, Bourges. Bourges is also French from Momio. Let's see, could it be in the Paris orbit? Lots of things are. I know of it, and I'm sure I've heard it. Orléans, Tonnerre. Yeah, actually, it's an interesting idea. Okay, let's see if we can get more information about this place. Like, other than that it is the home office of a town I've never heard of. Sèvres. Souhaite la bienvenue au Tour de France, dimanche 26 juillet à partir de 16h30. That song sounds like maybe acid might have been involved in it. Piscine municipale. Brimborion, résidence par Eiffel, résidence Champfleury. D406. Centre-ville, manufacture. Rive gauche. Ouais. Puteaux. Sèvres. It is indeed in the Paris orbit. That is what I thought. $49.96. I may actually be in the running to break my current record. Crosstown Corners Apartments. $413. That is a dog running on a tile floor. A very excitable little dog above my head. Okay, I'm pretty sure we're in the US because there was the equal housing lender emblem on that sign for the flats. I think that is very specifically a US EEOC thing. Summit Package Store. Package Store? Who calls them that? That is a regional thing. I'm not remembering exactly what region just now. But yeah, we are definitely in the US. Yeah, US style fire hydrants even. Springfield. Springfield Housing Authority. Okay. Massachusetts or Illinois? Those are the two main ones. Oh, Hancock. see. Ruth Elizabeth Park Legacy Trail. That does not ring any bells. Further confirmation that we are indeed in the U.S. Okay. Springfield College. Hoping that maybe Springfield College will give us some indications of what state we're in. Esta casa es de Dios. ¿Acaso él paga los arriendo, weón? Something very large was just blurred out. Harriet Tubman Park. .413 area code. Does not ring a bell to me. Ah, damn. I was hoping it would include the statutory basis for the towing, because that would tell me what state we're in. Okay. No statutory basis there either. That's very unfortunate. Who knows? It was a really large one anyway. Like, the only thing I know of either of the Springfields I'm familiar with is the railway station in Springfield, Illinois. So I've been through there a few times. I would recognize that. But unfortunately, so far we're not seeing that. Oh, let's see. 6 corners. Oh, okay. Okay, it is Springfield, Massachusetts. Let's see, can we get a street name? Something exciting must have just happened upstairs, judging from the dog sounds. Cedar Street, and what? Lots of cops around. Ah, there's Springfield College. So, and there's Hancock. Cedar Street, there we go. Okay, there's Hancock. Union High, Mulberry. Cedar Street. $49.99. I am seriously in the running to break a record here. Oh hell, it's Russia. Расчетный сервисный центр связи. Кабельная телевизионная компания. До 50 каналов круглосуточно ежедневно. Город Белого, улица Карла Маркса, 108. Белого? Weren't we just in Белого? It's off by Novosibirsk, I think. Belova. That was an ad for cable TV in Belova. Please let this be the same Belova. Because they're not above having 2 towns with the exact same name in Russia. They do that to you. These exposed gas lines are such an interesting... Novokuznetsky, Municipalny Bank. Okay, yeah. Yeah, we're definitely in the same Bielova because it's near Novokuznetsk. Okay, wow, okay. Russia is not going to fuck up my possible record-breaking streak here. Now I just need some street names. Okay. Улица Карла Маркса. Okay. Октябрьская улица. Переулок Толстого. Пролетарская улица. Proletarian Street. Улица Карла Маркса. Отдел по вопросам миграции. Детский сад номер 530. Оператор интерактивной связи. Nice to get a Енина, Советская, Октябрьская, Горького, Советская. Красноармейская. Енина. $49.96. 19,991 out of 20,000 so far. I am so in this. Like, I am 9 points short of a perfect score on my first 4 rounds. So where are we? Avenue Belvedere, Rue Raymond Cagrin. We're in... Okay. We are in Quebec. Rue Bear Market. I mean, I would guess that this is probably Montreal. Quebec,
Part de Saint-Martyr, arrondissement de la Cité, Ville de Québec. Oh, good. A good thing that I did not just take that on faith. We are in Québec, Ville de Québec, Québec City. Part de Saint-Martyr, la cité Limoilou. Limoilou. Here we are. Le grand marché de Québec, Parc Ferland, la souche microbrasserie, Cégep, domaine de Mézeray, par des jaseurs, un sac quartier, Calixa la Vallée per Market. Okay, let's see. Stimoville, rue des Intendants, Champfleury, Bourassa, rue des Frères, des Chênes, Godbout, Délire, Escalade, Fontville, Niverville, Poulain, Desblois, Turbide, Gaspard, Vaudreuil, Beauchemin, Père Marquette. Paul 6. Des Sœurs de la Charité. Beau-Royal. Montagne. Clemenceau. Vigneron. Carrefour. Petit-Clair. I want to nail this thing because I am totally in record-breaking territory here. Henri Bourassa, Champfleury. Monument. Gauthier. Père Marquette, tabarnak, c'est où Père Marquette? Never been to Quebec City. I've heard good things about it. Apparently it has a very pretty city center. Clairbonne, l'Atrium, Sapinière d'Orion, Lilas, Peuplier, Frêne, Peuplier, Pine, Robichaud, La Jeunesse, Cocteau, Vincent, Beaumont, Vaudreuil, Châteaubriand, Sévilla, Village, Gaspard, Beauchemin. Tabarnak, c'est où? Charlebourg, Polyvalente.
Well, I know it's near this park of Saint-Martyr. Bardi, non. Gérard Marchand, non. Ça s'appelle comment, tabarnak? Vieux Limoilou. Pointe au lièvre. Bibou, Papineau. Louis Joliet. Ferland. Saint-Vallier, Saint-Sacrement. Si boire, sacrement. Ja, wahrscheinlich. Château Bigot. Jean Bosco. Père Marquette, tabarnak. Notre-Dame des Pitiés, rue des Lacs-Ducs. Onze à Cartier, Capucin. Anyone just joining, I'm on the cusp of breaking a personal record. If I can just figure out, I'm someplace in Limoilou, in Québecville, and my trouble is figuring out exactly where. Père Marquette, tabarnak. Montmartre, Pigaouette, Dollard. Christophe Colomb, le génocide, le génocidaire. Paillard, Saint-Vallier. Richelieu, Potas. Abraham Martin. Saint-Anselme. Il y a Canardière.
Calixa, La Vallée. Let's see if we can find some more street names. Station Belvedere. That potentially helps. Gare du Palais. Ah, Stiegel. Haven't had Stiegel in ages. Okay, more street names would be good. Belvedere. Corridor scolaire. La Pointe. René Lévesque et Belvedere. René Lévesque usually gets a pretty major street in Quebec, so that should simplify things a bit. René Lévesque. C'est quoi? C'est la Berry, c'est le... Rue Père Marquette. Calixa La Vallée. Okay. Now let's get back to where we started. Père Marquette and what? And Belvedere. Okay, here we go. About to break a record. 5,000. 24,991. I have just broken a new record. 9 points short of a perfect score. Well, thank you to GeoGuessr for sending me to roughly the same place I had just been in Russia, because otherwise that probably wouldn't have happened. Now, we had started watching a thing about Duolingo's shitty AI update that made an already shitty website even shittier. And I was thinking we might continue on with that, because that was interesting. See what else they fucked up. Thank you.
Awareness, but I can't touch it. I don't know anything about it. What? The thing is, Lewis says that Duolingo owes it to its users to get them in.
He was just explaining how the one aspect of Duolingo that I would actually say was kind of useful, the sort of downward trajectory of that, which is the stories. Is apparently what I did not know, because apparently it was before my time. Originally, the stories had been actual stories, like stuff from like the Telltale Heart and stuff like that. And then they decided to apparently do just stuff with their characters, and that's where I came in. And that wasn't too bad, as like from a comprehensible input standpoint. The stories were kind of funny. They were kind of cute. Yeah, that wasn't the worst thing around. And now apparently the things are just like generated using ChatGPT prompts. And he's talking about how just completely empty and meaningless they are.
Content ASAP, and they've already cut their contracted workforce twice in the last 2 years. But that AI productivity boost, that decrease in company overhead, that hasn't gotten translated to a better app for us. It hasn't translated into a price decrease.
Like, when has any of it? The whole point of it is they wouldn't translate it into a price decrease. Here, once again, we have an image that you could use as the cover of Capital Volume 1.
Despite all the money that they've now made from it, no, they actually just locked it away behind another tier. So they expect you to pay even more money to access features that used to be part of the app that they took away and replaced with AI. So we've got price increases, we've got tanking quality in the story department, and what's left feels like a bland corporate fast food meal of an app with an incredibly...
Which, I mean, I have to say, it's like, that's what it already was. That's what it already was. And he's talking about, I mean, the languages that he's done on there are German and Spanish, at least that I know of. There were tons of languages on there that they didn't even bother half-assing it on. Like Navajo, for example. The Navajo one was useless. They didn't have audio for most of it. The phrases were just random stuff, and the audio that was there was horrible quality. And like Hawaiian was was no different. It was actually worse, if anything. I mean, this was already an incredibly shitty app to begin with.
Fine-tuned lesson structure. Used to have a human element, now it's just a robot. And that's supposed to be something we're like, oh yeah! I wanted no humanity in my communication app. I just wanted to give you my money. Jesus Christ. I see all these articles like, why aren't there any like big social media companies or big tech companies coming out of Europe? I just feel like Europeans not only have more laws to protect consumers, but just have such a different understanding of what matters most in life. And
I mean, I don't know about that. I'm sure, I think it has more to just do with market share. I mean, yes, there are definitely better data protection and consumer protection laws, especially in Western Europe. Which is why you get all sorts of options for your data on, like, Facebook or whatever.
if you're in the EU that you do not get if you're here, because they have data protection laws there and we don't. But, I mean, I think it's mostly that it's just market share. Like, competing with Facebook is a huge investment that is very uncertain and nobody wants to do it, or Facebook or any of the other major social networks. I mean, competing with Twitter now is just like a sport everybody seems to do, because Elon Musk has done a wonderful job of running it into the ground.
There's something sick about a lot of the people that are the top C-suite CEO type people at most American companies. Something truly dystopian and disgusting.
It's called capitalism.
Tell us how you really feel.
I'm disappointed. That's what it is. It's a sheer disappointment. You know what I mean? In order to be authentic and to share my opinions on this topic, it's going to come off as loud and hurt, because I am hurt. And I'm American, so I'm loud at my best, so. Being a data-driven company has allowed Duolingo to make some difficult decisions that have resulted in people spending more time learning within their app.
Yeah, well, I mean, specifically, well, I would not, okay, the word learning needs a lot of quotation marks around it, but yeah, because the thing is, the main thing that is data-driven about them is the progression of exercises you go through. Because the whole thing is done based on statistics on what things are what sequence is least likely to have somebody quit after completing it.
That is a positive, but that is very transparently a bonus to the real reason of increasing shareholder value. Morally, it's such an interesting question. They're doing all this data mining, and they found a way to trick people to using their app longer.
Yeah, and despite the fact that it actually does not get particularly... It is literally the opposite of what actually works for language acquisition. It was a rubbish app to begin with.
It's to learn a language.
I mean, we first encountered this guy because I was watching a Days and Words video, which was reviewing his claim to have become fluent in German using only Duolingo, and the thing was, he didn't only use Duolingo, and he also was by no means fluent in German by any stretch of the imagination.
So they can make more money. But what used to be language first, money second, became so overwhelmingly money, shareholder value, profits.
I mean, it was never language first. If it were language first, you would do a completely different approach, and it would be a better app. It was never language first. It was always like giving people the experience of what they expect that language learning is. That they expect based on the bullshit that they went through in school, where they did 4 years of a language, did reasonably well on their grades, and still came out not knowing anything about the language. It was always a language learning simulator at best.
And you get to learn a language along the way while you're giving us money. Why would you want to run a company like that? I wonder if it is that famous quote.
I wonder if it's something to do with money.
Power corrupts everything. Money, the greed, seeing big number get bigger, must really genuinely break some people's brains, and then they must not see anything else. They lose a bit of humanity. Being a data-driven company is...
I mean, again, we've got the meme. It's volume 1 of Capital.
It's a good thing. I'm not saying that's necessarily bad, but the data should be a tool, something that helps you make decisions, not something that you myopically go straight towards.
But, I mean, they are using the data as a tool to make decisions. It's just that the priority of their decisions is profits.
Without any other consideration. Similar to Duolingo, with learning a language. Most people recommend you do Duolingo alongside some other methods. And it's
like maybe something that actually works.
Really good method. You know, it's just a tool in your arsenal. You're not supposed to go 100% AI, because then this type of thing happens. You become some sort of bland corporate entity without a soul, without a meaning. Some dystopian sort of Batman villain-esque person who posts emails to your LinkedIn being like, look how good I am. It's so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, everything on LinkedIn is cringe, though. I mean, that's just how LinkedIn, that's what LinkedIn is. It is sad Facebook.
To everybody else, but I guess people within his sycophantic circle. I feel like Lewis is the type of person that sees the trolley problem and goes, how is this a problem? Doesn't matter. Just pull the lever. Don't know these people. Fucking kill them. I'm the guy that owns the train track anyway. I'm making that money. What used to make social media
Well, yeah, yes, because of the capitalism.
such a fun and exciting place was that everyone was on it. It was social. People were there. Your friends were there. You'd log on and see what Carol was up to, or
Yeah,
your mate John.
yeah, I mean, it did all sorts of other things other than actually helping people learn languages.
But then, over time, in an effort to increase time spent on their apps to generate more advertiser profits, these same sites started algorithmically removing posts from Carol and John in favor of glittery influencer posts, or posts designed to get you angry, once they discovered that, hey, angry people stay on our apps longer. We make more money when you're upset. These apps became less...
Well, I mean, it's also, let's just face it, it's just not exactly hard to get people upset at the moment. Because it's just like, you look outside and shit is upsetting in general.
less about the people and more about the content.
Look around you, you look around you and actually pay attention and you will get upset. Yeah.
The content to keep you there. Do I miss the vlogging era of YouTube when it was still social? Absolutely, I do a lot actually. There was such a stronger sense of community to the place. Duolingo had a similar community within the comments of their exercises, which they swiftly...
Yeah, I mean, actually, that, again, which is interesting because on the one hand, yeah, it does have that social aspect, but on the other hand, that was unpaid labor.
destroyed and replaced it with the ability to talk to AI for a fee. This is the problem with having 100% of your business decisions dictated dogmatically towards profits and data, as opposed to using this information to make informed decisions with other variables involved. This way ensures you create a soulless feeling entity. And like I said, I'm not against AI. It can be incredibly useful as a tool in your arsenal, but at the end of the day,
arsenals don't usually include tools, I have to say. That's not usually what arsenals are for.
AI is an average of patterns that it currently knows. It can recognize patterns and predict from them better than any human, but there exists an element to human creativity that exists far outside this data set that elevates the human more than the average. And no, it's not just Duolingo. Weird tangent. Why has every Disney Marvel film, or rather, why have most all Disney films been pretty terrible in the last 5 to 10 years?
Because, like, it seems like they're only allowed to have one quality project at a time, and that is Andor. Like, the only thing that's allowed to be good is Andor on Disney at the moment. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and you could say this is why everything's a fucking sequel.
Because executives base all their creative decisions off patterns. This exact pattern made us a lot of money. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Oh shoot, stop working. Let's go for this pattern. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. As an audience member, you feel that. This one wasn't as good as the last one, was it?
Yeah, multiplied by 100. Okay. Duolingo may be useful AI in the future. I mean,
Interesting to me. The frustrating part with Duolingo is that, for me, I am still making great progress with my knowledge in Spanish with the app, and I can appreciate just how fine-tuned the lesson lengths and challenges are the way to keep engaged in the app. Thus,
yeah, and the thing is, he does not really seem to have a whole lot of self-awareness on exactly what his progress is, from what I've seen about, like, videos where he's actually spoken in one of his target languages.
learning more Spanish. In that regard, I really do enjoy it. It is working, and I am learning more Spanish, but I'd be lying if I said all the joy behind it was still there. That's the thing. Just because something works...
I mean, and remember, this is where we get into something that's called the affective filter. I've been talking about it a lot in recent weeks. And the thing is, when you're not enjoying it, when you're feeling nervous and you're feeling self-conscious and you're afraid of getting things wrong and all that sort of thing, that is toxic to language acquisition. Even if you otherwise have good material for language acquisition, that fucks it up.
works doesn't mean it's good. And just because something is...
Just because you feel like you're learning something doesn't mean you are also.
efficient and scalable doesn't mean it's the only variable that matters. AI isn't going away anytime soon.
I mean, actually, there are some indications that the bubble is popping a bit. It's very, very slow popping bubble, unfortunately. As a translator, it cannot pop soon enough. The trouble is that in my field, AI actually is just creating these time bombs. people who are not really qualified to know whether a translation is any good or not, because they can only understand either the source language or the target language, see something that has coherent output, and they think, okay, it must be accurate. And they don't look at it too carefully, because that's not their fucking job. So, but the thing is that it only is going to affect the bottom line if you have the combination of something that can potentially get you sued, or otherwise, cause people to stop using whatever, your product or service or website or whatever. And it has to actually it has to coincide with something that makes the low quality and general inaccuracy of so-called AI translations matter. And that takes time. The stuff just sort of sits around until then. Capital that has such good reasons for denying the sufferings of the legions of workers that surround it is in practice moved as much and as little by the sight of the coming degradation in one of 7.
Like a genie that's been let out of the bottle at this point. I don't think people fully grasp just how much of a paradigm shift we're living through at the moment. There will be a time in the very near future where you won't be able to find a company in any field not using AI to some...
See, I have my doubts about that, because there are already indications that AI is jumping the shark, that these companies are realizing it is actually costing them money. It is, particularly in anything that is customer facing, it turns out that actually they're making less money, because people will actually, if there's a service that does not have this stuff versus a version of the service that does, they will choose the one that doesn't. Degradation in every capitalist nation. Oh, we seem to have missed 2 and 3.
Degree, similar to how rare it is to find a company without a website or social media these days.
Which is not the same thing, because the thing is, people find it useful for companies to have websites, because it's a place to find them. People, by and large, do not find it useful to have these bullshit AI assistants.
Only a matter of time, and I hate being doomy and depressing, but AI is a thing that is here to stay. You just have to find the best way you can to continue living in society. Find things that you really appreciate about life. For me, it's...
God, that is such a fucking sad worldview. Like, shit is going to get worse, not because it has to, but because a bunch of rich ghouls have decided that they like it when things suck. Because things sucking makes the money. And therefore, we just have to find remaining things that we like as everything goes to hell. I mean, that is a depressing way of looking at things, actually.
Cycling, hanging out with friends, and making these YouTube videos on whatever topic that I find interesting. For you, hopefully it's consuming my content all the time. I've got more videos from you.
That's enough camera shake. Okay. Now, we're running out of time. Yeah, it seems like the second and third got filtered and all the rest got through. We've been watching Evil D's things on people who are or claim to be hyperpolyglots, and I've had a very mixed view of them. But in my recommendations recently, a response to one of these from one of the people he featured has appeared. So I thought we might look at that real quick. We've only got about 10 minutes to go, but I think this will wind us down.
Hello, that's me, Patrick, and that's my response to Evil D's investigation. First of all, if you came here expecting that kind of video where...
Put 2 and 3 in the Discord. Now I'm kind of curious why 2 and 3 would not have gone through. Maybe there are specific words it doesn't like.
People get angry and decides to start arguing with the other person, that's not the case. I did like the investigation. I do think Evildier's work is essential, especially when it comes to language learning. We have a lot of frauds out there, and I don't know, I really enjoy this idea. You know what? That's crazy to me. When if you claim like, oh, I speak those languages, and then some guy tells you like, okay, can you prove? So, some people just get angry, get mad on that. I was like, no.
I mean, I can actually, which is kind of understandable, because if you're just, if somebody just sort of randomly comes up to you and is like, prove it, I mean, that is, they're essentially calling you a liar, and a lot of people don't like being called a liar, including people who aren't lying.
Come on, I don't have to prove anything. What is the point there? What's so difficult about it? If you're not lying, and you actually speak the languages that you claim to speak, what's the big deal if someone tells you like, okay, show me. Okay, I'll show you.
Like, yeah, except like some random person, like who the fuck are them? Who the fuck are them? Who the fuck are they? Like, you know, it's like if somebody who is going to pay me for my services wants to see that I can actually do the thing that I say that I can do, that's one thing. But like some random person who has a semi-rigorous method, I mean, I can understand somebody feeling put out about that.
And first thing, a lot of people say, oh, I don't have to prove anything. I don't have to prove anything, and that's it. Sorry.
In every stock jobbing swindle, everyone knows that sometime or other the crash must come. Now I'm interested in reading the original of that quote, because I'm just curious what the German was from which they got stock jobbing swindle. But everyone hopes that it may fall on the head of his neighbor after he himself has caught the shower of gold and placed it in safety. Après moi la déluge is the watchword of every capitalist in every capitalist nation. Hence, Okay. It is in practice moved as much as little by the sight of the coming degradation and final depopulation of the human race as by the probable fall of the earth into the sun. Interesting. I wonder what words... Because it was okay with degradation. Like, depopulation? Swindle? I'm very curious what it would have been that was tripping the filters.
Agree. You don't have to prove. Except if you sell courses or if you sell language-related services. If people pay you, I think is well understood. I'm not sure if it's the accent or something. He gets better as he goes. Nerves, or maybe it's just the Welsh. Okay. And here we have a guy. I'd like to talk about this one. C2 my ass. Guys, let's talk about the CFR and specifically C1 and C2 levels. First of all, C2 doesn't mean native speaker. And
I mean, true.
Native speakers wouldn't have.
I'm just reading these comments here. I'll give you one hint how to spot hyper-polyglot liar. If he claims he can speak Czech or Slovak and doesn't know the other one, it's a big red flag. Because if you collect languages, nothing is easier to go for Czech plus Slovak. It's basically two languages for one learning time. That is not... I mean, actually, Czech and Slovak are... I mean, there are a lot of similarities, but there are also a lot of very clear differences. And, like... So the assumption is that everybody will go in... that everyone will go in the same order?
Pass the C2 exam. Because it has nothing to do with being a native speaker. And actually, it's unrealistic to expect that a C2 level is going to sound like a C2 person all the time.
Which, I mean, and already the concept of sounding like a C2 person is somewhat, is already kind of a silly concept, because you're talking about non-native speakers who are coming from different language backgrounds. They're not all going to sound the same. Now, I was just looking at that, and now I just want to look a little bit at the original that he's responding to.
What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have another hyperpolyglot investigation. If you take a look at my screen right here, this is the investigation in question, Evil DM Community Investigation of Patrick Lancaster.
Now, I mean, that picture makes it look like he just got up. I think mostly because of the coffee cup.
More than happy to do that, which again bodes quite well. Now, he has a number of websites overall, as you can see them all here, but this is his main YouTube channel, so we'll just take a quick look at this. So this is the YouTube channel in question. Doesn't have too many...
Fluency in cualquier idioma en apenas 3 meses. Okay, fluent in 3 months in any language. Okay, I mean, that strikes me... That does... Okay, I will say that does not tell me anything about how well he speaks what, you know, the languages he says he speaks. But the minute I see a claim like that, any language in just 3 months and becoming fluent? No. I mean, that's not a thing. That immediately strikes me as dodgy as hell.
Any subs? If we click here, there's no additional information. If you look at the videos, it's basically just him talking about learning languages, and it's all in Portuguese, although when he shows off his language abilities, obviously that's in different languages. Now, obviously, to investigate him, we need to figure out what his ability is, or at least his
he's in Hypea, which I'm also in.
Ability in each one of the languages. And the first place that we really took a look at was the International Association of Hyperpolyglots, with which he is a member. And on that webpage, as you
Let's see, Portuguese, native, English C2, Spanish C2, French C1, German C1, Russian C1, Ukrainian, okay. Korean, Slovenian, Japanese.
You can see right here.
I see, this is where the comment about, the idea that somebody is a liar if they know Czech or Slovak, but they haven't learned the respective other one. Like, I'm pretty sure you would find that there are actual, like, Czech and Slovak people who haven't learned the respective other language, though they could probably, like, passively understand it fairly well. Like, I've never really done much with Slovak. Of the two, Czech is the one that I've spent the most time on, because I've spent, you know, a few very lovely weeks in Prague, and bought a whole bunch of books while I was there and stuff like that. But, you know, if you hand me a book in Slovak, I will probably understand it fairly well.
What his ability very specifically is in each one of these languages. So we put that information down here, and then we cross-check that to other sources, such as the LinkedIn, as you can see right here, because within that time frame, and it looks like he would reject you if you come in with unrealistic goals. And he's provided some more information about...
I mean, unrealistic goals like becoming fluent in any language in 3 months?
About, you know, the students and their journeys and stuff like that here, if you want to read that. So overall, I would say that this is...
I mean, that's such a weird thing to say, because it's like, on the one hand, I mean, he's got a video that says how to become fluent in any language in 3 months, and then he's saying he rejects students with unrealistic goals. That is an unrealistic goal, though.
If it is actually the way he states it is, and you have a one-on-one meeting first up and you try to determine goals, and then after that you actually pay, then I don't see any issues with that. But on the front, on the web page overall, and just like what the support staff say, when they say, yeah, you can get to that level, and there definitely needs to be some training done for the support staff here to tell them that this is a very unlikely goal. However, it is possible for specific candidates. Now, he does...
I mean, I will say the idea of having sort of intake interviews around goals and things like that, that's not a bad idea. That makes perfect sense to do. Because, I mean, the ideal language acquisition environment is going to be very much tailored to what people are interested in doing with the languages.
Also have another one here, such as the Master Club, where you basically learn 5 languages with a simple membership, accelerated fluency, innovative method. However, when you reach out,
what is the method?
Team says that they're currently paused or being reformulated, and again, here's the proof. As you can see right here, if you want to read that. Now, he also has a profile on this website here where he offers group classes for English and Russian. Entire interview. So I'm just... we could get a proper, estimate of his abilities, and we tested him based on his claim levels. Okay, so this is the interview in question, and this one he does English, but also Spanish and French, which we'll get to in a moment. And he was interviewed for basically an hour and a half straight, so the guy's got some endurance, let's just say that. Now, we're clearly not going to watch this entire interview, so I'm just going to give you a
And see, this is one of the weaknesses, I have to say, of this sort of investigating. Because you're going entirely off of production, and entirely off of production in the already somewhat unnatural environment of making videos, and that doesn't necessarily tell you a whole lot about other key aspects like comprehension, reading, writing, all that sort of thing. Aktienschwindelei. Okay, so literally just share swindle in German. So stock jobbing swindle, I have to say, some poetic license taken, but I like it.
To give you guys a taste test, and it's the same thing I'm going to do with all of his languages. You're just going to get a snippet. If you want to watch the rest of these interviews, or just like the videos that we reference in general, they will all be linked in the document below.
Did you make a conscious decision to learn American English or a different specific variety?
No, actually, that was not a conscious decision. I just thought about it. I didn't even remember. So, bro, this guy used to speak like that, and then I just thought of that. Because,
like, one of the comments was that he has an accent. And on the video, somebody said, that his English had an accent. It's like, yeah, I mean, a C2 speaker, it's not uncommon for C2 speakers to have accents. That is the sort of thing that strikes me as a not great criterion to operate on. But I noticed the time. It is time to wrap up. Thank you to everyone who joined in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And if you enjoy the stream and would like to support the stream, contributions are always welcome. It continues to be a rough time because of AI's deleterious effects on my industry, and so all support is very much welcome. I'm going to drop the link here, and I will be back on Friday at 4:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time next week. Have a good evening, and I'm going to